Fast and firm today at Saratoga with minimal scratches, and that's just how we like it. Both turf courses, the melon and the inner, the rails are set at 0 feet, and we like that as well. I have a $54 late pick 5 and a $24 grand slam for you, so let's get right to it. Coming up next on Thoroughbred Ticket.
Welcome to Thoroughbred Ticket. We're playing the exotics like trifectas, superfectas. To pick 3, 4, 5, and 6 will become that much easier. Rushing to handicap multiple races? Well, your host will save you a bundle of time. And now here he is, the self-proclaimed expert handicapper, Mr. Kenneth Moultrie.
Hello, racing fans, and welcome to Thoroughbred Ticket, and I am your host, Kenneth Moultrie, and welcome to the spa, the real spa. You know, a day where we get fast and firm. The rails are set at 0 feet. We have minimal scratches. We have just 3, I think, off the program. And, of course, it's 2 horses that I like that I handicapped previously, but I have to wait. When I do this, when I do a particular episode, I like to wait until the scratches come out. And so, you know, I'm just getting this up right now on air. So, like I said, it had to be 2 horses who I liked that were scratched. But nevertheless, I'm not complaining. I went on and substituted a couple of the horses in there. And let's see what I came up with as I give them to you. So once again, I'm going to give you a late pick 5 that's going to cover races 7 through 11. And the Grand Slam also is going to start in race 7 and end in race 10 with the feature, or I should say the co-feature, the Caress. There is a scratch in that particular race. So the races I'm going to cover, folks, let me give you the scratches in those races. So in race 7 is 12 are signed up. 12 are going to run as of right now. There are no scratches. Race 8, 9 are signed up. It looks like 9 are going to run, so no scratches there. In race 9, we do have the scratch of the 7. Now, hold on for this. I got to get this name right. Zaina Larab, all right? Zaina Larab, the 7, the Chad Brown filly. And Javier Castellana was supposed to ride, but she is out. The 7, Zaina Larab, okay? So hopefully I didn't blotch that up. And also in the 10th race, the Caress, the 6, Jakarta is out. The 6, Jakarta is out, leaving a field of 5. Obviously, some things changed there. Obviously, a pace scenario. But like I said, I'll get to that in a second. So let's start off with the late pick 5. Now, on the Grand Slam, folks, I use the same horses, obviously, because, you know, it's a different sequence, it's a different bet. But obviously, you know, if I like one horse in one particular bet, I'm certainly going to like that in another. But I use it, a Grand Slam, in a kind of a different, strange way than most people do. If you're not familiar with the Grand Slam, let me just explain it to you real quick. It's run only once a day on Naira tracks, and it's usually ends with the race before the final race, which is often the feature race, or at least the co-feature as today brings it. So in the first leg, you can you can use multiple horses in any leg you want to. It covers 4 legs. That's why it's called the Grand Slam. And so in the first 3 legs, all your horse has to do is place first, second, or third. And then in the closing and final leg, your runner has to win. And once again, you can use multiple runners. The minimum bet is $1. I have a $24 for you, as I said in my opening. But let me start with the late pick 5, covering races 7 through 11. The 7th race is a mile and 16th on the melon. And this is going to be for, I guess it's 3-year-olds and up, or maybe it's 3-year-olds. It looks like it's 3-year-olds. I'm looking at the conditions here. Yeah, it's for 3-year-olds. And no scratches, which is good. 12 are signed up, and I am using 3 runners in this leg. Now, let me start off with the 3 Sifting Sands. Now, this colt is trained by Chad Brown and ridden by Manny Franco. Now, Manny Franco has been doing a lot of riding for Chad Brown the past 7 or 8 months. He shows he's 29, almost 30% off of 95 runners, and I know that's changed since the last production of the form. And his ROI is $2.43. So, pretty good. It's not Javier, it's not Irad, and it's not Jose. So a lot of times, you're going to get a nice price, especially when Chad has multiple runners in the field and Manny Franco's on one. A lot of times, Manny is not going to be on the favorite of the Chad Brown multiple runners. But in this particular race, Chad has only one here. The thing I like about Sifting Sands is this colt came out of the Woodhaven at Aqueduct back in April, and the 2 runners, the first and second place finisher in that race, Hard Love and It's a Gamble, both came back to win. So that proved to be a very, very strong race. Sifting Sands was 7th in that event, but he was bet pretty well at 5-1. So I'm looking for that 10-1 to come down a little bit. That's not what I like to see, but it's also a good sign. You can expect somewhere around 5 or 6-1, in my opinion, from Sifting Sands, just based on the stat that those 2 runners, the first and second place finisher, came back to win. So look for a strong, strong effort. And then one of the horses I'm going to use is the 3 Sifting Sands. I'm also going to use the 7 Calibrate. Now, this distorted humor colt is trained by Asmussen and written by Ricardo Santana. What else is new? Now, this is going to be this colt's first time on grass, but the Tomlinson figures, and if you all don't know what those are the numbers that they're calibrated for class and past history of breeding and whatnot. And they're in parentheses right next to the turf and the distance of the particular records of the horses. And usually somewhere they have a runner, a number for the turf itself, and then a number for the distance of the turf in this case. And if it's on the dirt, it's the dirt. But somewhere in the mid to high 300s or even in the 400s is something I like to look for for first timers on, like, say, on the turf. And if it's something under 300, if it's in the 2s, then I kind of dismiss it if it's their first time, because I'm thinking like they're either not bred for the turf as a whole, or especially not for the turf at that distance. And anyway, in this event, Calibrate has some good Tomlinson numbers. He's by 1988 Travers winner, or he's the grandson of Travers winner in 1988 49er. But I think he can transfer his races to the turf. His last buyer of 85 at Churchill on the dirt, be it, is the highest in the field. And like I say, the Tomlinson numbers say he can run on the turf, or he's bred for the turf. I think, I looked at Asmussen's number on the turf, his numbers, and they were 15%. And that's kind of shocking to me. Not shocking, but this is a little surprising that I saw that Asmussen, out of 700 turf runners, he was somewhere around 15%. First of all, I didn't know he sent that many horses on the turf, not 700 anyway. And then I didn't know at 15% from 700 is pretty decent. So, not Chad Brown type numbers or anything like that, but it's kind of surprising a little bit. Like I say, he has his main man on him today. Everything looks right. Does have a Saratoga turf work on the training track. I mean, it was slow, and that's something I do not like. But I'm just looking basically if this colt can transfer his running to the turf course, and by all accounts, it looks like he can. So I'm going to use the number 7 Calibrate. He's 6-1 on the morning line. The final horse in this sequence I'm going to use is the 9 Mooncod, and this is a Pletcher and Velasquez runner. It's 3-year-old colt by Warfront. Does have turf experience. Broke his maiden at Gulfstream. Got an 80 buyer on the turf. Came back at Belmont on a yielding track. Ran an even race with Joel Rosario that day. Rosario opted for another runner in this race, Space Launch, who I do not like and I'm not going to use. So I'm looking back at a couple of runners here. It was back in December where Kentucky Pharaoh came back to win in one of his turf races at Gulfstream. So this Warfront colt has been keeping some good company. And like I said, I like the switch to Johnny V. Johnny V is cold right now, 0 for 18. Think that obviously, the race today and the coaching club should get him off the schneid. I think this can be his second winner of the day to get him going. Like I said, when I did my preview show about Johnny V, he's not winning any more riding titles. Neither is Javier. But these guys are can win when you get them the right opportunity. Of course, still, especially in stake events and on a big day like this, even though this is a optional $80,000 claimer, the purse is $103,000. So like I said, Johnny V can ride still. Like I said, he's not winning any titles anymore. But I am going to use this colt in this particular sequence. So 3, 7, 9, Sifting Sands, Calibrate, and Moonquad in race 7, which is the opening leg of the pick 5. So in the Grand Slam, I'm not going to use Moonquad. I'm not going to saturate my Grand Slam ticket with every horse I use in the pick 5 because it's a little more difficult to hit the pick 5, so I have to spread a little more. But I do like to use multiple runners in the Grand Slam. Hopefully I can get both of those on the board and double my ticket, or maybe even sometimes triple my ticket. So like I said, I usually back off on one horse in the Grand Slam. So in the Grand Slam, I'm using the 3 Sifting Sands and the 7 Calibrate, not the 9 Moonquad. So there you have it. 3 and 7 for the Grand Slam, 3, 7, 9 for the pick 5. Race 8, the second sequence in the late pick 5 and the second sequence in the Grand Slam, is for fillies and mares. Going on the inner at a flat mile, and 9 are signed up. I'm using 3 in here. And I'll start, I don't know if I should start in post position order or with the horse I like best. Let me start with the horse I like best, and that is the 5 Midnight Choir. This filly by McLean's Music, trained by Jonathan Thomas. And Jonathan Thomas has some great numbers. Now, this filly has not been seen since October at Belmont on a sprint on the inner. Now, the third place finisher, Miss Brazil, in that race came back to win. Now, that was this filly's only start. Manny Franco is going to ride, adding blinkers today on the inner, stretching out. And the one thing, if you all know about the inner at Saratoga, it favors speed. Today is fast and firm, adding blinkers, good post position. Came out that really fast race at Belmont in a 109.2. And ran even all the way around. So stretching out, I expect Manny to put this filly on or near the lead. And I think she'll be very, very tough to catch. I also like the 7 Vintage Style, trained by George Weaver and written by Jose Lescano. And this filly, this Bernardini filly, is a notorious bad breaker. She finds trouble for herself. It seems like she seems like she's coming out of this. She's a maiden, but she raced in the Martha Washington at Gulfstream, which is a $75,000 stake. So she's basically dropping here. She was pretty much a long shot. Didn't run too bad, even though she ran next to last. She only missed by 6 lengths. Did close a little ground. Like I said, gets Jose Lescano, and like I say, dropping back into the straight maiden company. I think this Kentucky bred will be very, very tough. Looks like the mile distance seems absolutely perfect for her. and I look for a big